Hello, welcome to another episode of Talkin Rangers. Today is Saturday, March 1st, and to kick off Mika March, the New York Rangers make a trade. Ryan Lindgren and Jimmy Vesey are going to the Colorado Avalanche, and the Rangers will receive Juuso Parssinen, two 2025 conditional picks, a second and a fourth, and then Calvin D. Hahn. So forward and a defenseman, Lindgren, Vesey, both out. They also have the draft rights or the rights for Hank Kemp, I think goes to Colorado as well. Joe, what are your thoughts? This is kind of felt like something that could happen. The Rangers kind of making like a buy and sell move where you're adding, depth defenseman, adding another center, and then moving on from two pieces to try and get some value, guys that really aren't a part of your long-term plans, probably going to move on anyway. And you get some value for them now. So you're selling, but also adding still, where the Rangers are kind of in that interesting spot. 4 points back of a playoff, coming off of a bad loss last night to Toronto, and kind of just been teetering all year of average in a way. So, what are your thoughts?
I think it's actually like a really good trade. I mean, you get a second, a fourth, plus Dahan who can kind of fill in, and I think his play has been honestly moderately close to what Lindgren's been giving you. So pretty lateral of a move where it's not that big of a drop off, even if it is one between Lindgren and Dahan. And Parson's like a pretty big kid. He can play center. He's only 24, so you don't know. Maybe you catch lightning in a bottle and he plays well, so you can have him as like a depth center. Still a young kid, so I like that. And then obviously, like I said, the second and fourth is really good.
Yeah.
And then the Rangers side, Lindgren hasn't been great. I mean, he's been beaten up, beaten down, gets hurt a lot. So you kind of see as his like tenure came to an end, he just kept getting hurt, kept being,
Yeah.
the physicality really got to him, and I think that he was just worn down, and that style of play isn't super sustainable with his kind of build. He's not a big guy, but he was a good Ranger though. Regardless of how a lot of fans kind of thought of him as or what he was the last couple of years or last year. I feel like ever since he came up, I think he played the couple games after he got traded in 2018 and 2019. But he's been good, solid first pair defenseman that was able to pair with Fox. I think a lot of the guys on the team like him. So, I mean, that's also something, you take in consideration. Well-liked guy, well-liked player, battled hard, especially in the playoff series early on in like 21, 22, where, kept getting banged up in that Hurricane series and he kept coming back. But he was a good Ranger. It sucks that, didn't great with him just because like he kind of fell off a little skill wise, but it had to be done, and we're gonna miss him. But at the same time, I feel like people for the most part are gonna be more so on the side of he was kind of worn down, not playing well, so we're glad he's gone. But overall, just looking back, I think he was a solid Ranger, but it was time to move on. And then Jimmy Vesey was also UFA. He was okay in his second stint. He was pretty good in the first year he came through in 22, 23. Decent last year. I feel like a lot of the times he wasn't, in the lineup a lot. I don't think maybe Laviolette was a big fan of him, but I think he was solid in the fourth line. He could come and play third line if he needed to, kill penalties. He was just a solid bottom six player. But again, he's UFA, so they weren't going to resign him. So like they did both good stuff with this team. But at the end of the day, I mean, when you're most likely not going to make the playoffs and looking to rebuild, if you can add a second, a fourth for two UFAs that you don't know what their value really was, but I think they got a little more than what they could have out of that. So I think it was a good trade. And then also, like I said, you get the defenseman Dahan, where he can just come in and kind of replace Lindgren, and then you have that upside player, which young 24-year-old Parson. But we'll see what happens. I'm excited about the move. I think it kind of hopefully shows that the Rangers are leaning towards more of a sell approach, but it could also be more of a sell in by approach. We'll see how it is, but overall, I think it was probably say like if I had to give it a grade, I'd say like an A.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good trade. The two picks as well, 2025 conditionals, the second and the fourth, I think is is nice. And you get value for Lindgren and Vesey, like you said, two guys that weren't going to be here long term. Two good Rangers, especially Lindgren, 7 seasons, really 6 full seasons, because this, first year in 2018, 2019 only played, I think it was like 5 games or something like that. But really since, 2019, 2020, where he became, one of the really primary defensemen for this team, the physicality, he's kind of a guy that stuff that he didn't show up in the stat sheet, but was still a big piece of these last couple playoff runs, still a big piece of kind of this core where, some of these years where they've been able to get to the conference finals, in 2022, 2021, 2022, and then last year in 2023, 2024. So good Ranger, but yeah, time was up. I mean, he's not aging well. He's been banged up. His overall skill has kind of taken a hit. I think with the injuries, they've kind of caught up to him, and you're able to get some value for him. And yeah, I mean, VZ is solid. Fishbowl VZ, forever remember. Legend Fishbowl VZ. The empty netters. He was always.
He does have like an absurd amount of empty netters.
Yeah, he's an empty net merchant, but he goes to what, his 5th team now, because he was Rangers, Sabres.
I think he played for the Devils, Maple Leafs.
Devils, maybe 6th actually. So he's bounced around all over the map. First time though, well, actually second time he's going out Western Conference, because he was with Vancouver. So he heads out to Colorado. Yeah, I like Parson, and just doing some more research on him. He's got upside, which I think is, again, sort of that approach the Rangers are taking, where you're kind of in that buy sell mode, but you're also looking more towards the future. Like Lindgren and Vesey weren't going to be long-term pieces here. Parson, you bring him in, see what he can do the rest of the season, and maybe you find a long-term fit. Maybe you find a guy that can play a role here within the next couple seasons if they start to kind of transition into a more younger and new core in a way. Not saying he's going to be the leader of that, but he can kind of be a guy to come in and see what you have in him. He was a 7th round pick, so taking a flyer on a guy, I certainly am on board with it. He's got some upside. I mean, this season played 15 games with Nashville and then played 22 so far with Colorado as well. So bounced around with those two teams on the year, 11 points, 4 goals, 7 assists. Nothing crazy, but can be that depth center and maybe a future piece. And then in terms of DeHaan, yeah, I mean, he's been around for a while. He's kind of, your Lindgren replacement. Spent time with the Islanders, spent time with Carolina, Chicago, Tampa, and most recently this year, of course, with the Avalanche. So just a veteran depth guy to bring in, which we were talking about in the last episode. I know you were bringing in that potential depth defenseman. So it makes sense. I think it's a solid trade. I mean, I'd give it like a B+. I think it's a good trade. I think the biggest thing is just you're getting value for Vesey and Lindgren. Whether or not that value turns out to be anything, you're not going out and making a crazy move. It's a small move, and that's kind of where the Rangers are at right now. You can't. Drury's not going to go out. You shouldn't go out and, spend like drunken sailors and just make all these big moves. But it's also, you don't want to stand pat. You got to kind of make a choice, and it feels more like a seller's move, but you still do bring in pieces that can help the team now. So it's kind of mixed. But the buy-sell approach, and we'll see what's next. Like what other moves they maybe make. You mentioned Riley Smith potentially getting traded. I know when we were talking off air, it's certainly a possibility.
I think he definitely gets traded.
What do you think they get back for him?
Probably around what I think they'll get around what they gave. Maybe like a 2nd. I just think that maybe that the deadline teams are a little bit more desperate. So, but I think they should at least like a 3rd.
Yeah. It
feels like money too. If
it feels like when you look at Parson and just reading some like the scouting reports on him, very similar to like Kakko's play style, and you get him for, of course, cheaper.
Yeah.
Johnny Lazarus tweeted this out. He spoke to one of his former teammates in Milwaukee. He's a horse down low with the puck. His lower body strength is crazy. You can't take the puck from him. He's got a nose for the net, and he's a great guy. A little on the quieter side, but good English and great to talk to. Which I believe he is.
Sounds
From
like Capo
Finland.
Caco.
Yeah, it does sound like Capo Caco. And you get him cheaper. And yeah. So Finland. Maybe this was their plan all along.
The new Capo
Finland.
Caco.
Yeah, but like Drury knew what he was doing all along. Capo Caco wasn't the missing piece.
We needed a different Finn.
Yeah, it needed a different one. See, we got Urho Vakanainen. Now you had Parson into the mix. So maybe Drew's got a plan here.
Gotta hope, right?
Yeah. I don't know.
His clock is ticking.
Yeah, he's not coming back. There's no chance he comes back.
This
isn't a bad move, but this move's not gonna really move the needle in one way or another. Just this there's nothing that can really solve this team or cure this team or whatever phrase you want to use.
Yeah.
He's not coming back.
You don't think there's any chance? Like when do you think he gets let go? Like right after the season?
Probably. I mean, if you're gonna I just don't understand. I would just let go of both of them.
The coach and him.
Yeah, if you're gonna just completely clean house, what's the point of keeping Drury another year? I also think too. I don't know. Again, this is a sensitive locker room, so who knows? I mean, it doesn't take much to get this core kind of off, but I don't think the whole trade memo sat very well with the locker room. So I'm sure the guys inside that room probably don't have the highest level of respect for him to see all the trades that have happened in this season, to see him put the trade memo out about Kreider and guys like that, to see how the whole Trouba situation was handled.
They were also really pissed off about what happened to Gaudreau, apparently.
Yeah, the Gaudreau stuff as well.
Yeah, they did not like that.
No.
Which, I mean, as a fan, I loved it, but I could see why as a player.
Yeah, I mean, he was good in the playoffs, and he's a good locker room guy. I can understand it. He set a lot of people off in that locker room, or set a lot of people off in that locker room. So I just think like the coaching, they've lost buy-in with Lindgren.
Do they like any coaches though? Let's be honest. Like this core couldn't find one coach that
they couldn't. No,
could stick behind.
Well, and I agree with that. I don't think Lavi's a bad coach. He's just there's not a single coach that can come in here and coach this core.
Yeah, it's hard
because you can't really hold them accountable because if you do, then they like that's
cry.
They pretty much, especially Mika. Gallant tried to he tried to hold him accountable, but that's how they got on his bad side because he was.
Yeah, I mean, I was never a big fan of Gallant, but I did respect that he was. He kind of. You remember he kind of called him out after that Devils series.
Yeah,
and I guess they didn't like that.
They didn't like it. So, but this team, and I guess Laviolette tried that this year a little bit, where Kreider was healthy scratch. He trades Trouba, moves on from Gaudreau.
He didn't do that to anyone else though, which I thought was a little confusing. If you were gonna make
like Mika.
People, if you're gonna hold people accountable, I feel like you're just gonna hold Kreider, who it was also an easy out though because he was also hurt. So, it was a healthy scratch, but at the same time, he was also banged up. So it wasn't totally a healthy scratch.
Yeah.
Where they could have.
I mean, if you really wanted to hold accountable, Mika would not play. Panarin wouldn't play.
Yeah, then he had that quote where it was like, "Oh, there's too many guys to hold accountable, so I can't set the whole team." It's like, okay, well.
He basically said
the team sucks. There's nothing I can do about it. Which is also maybe a shot at Drury.
Yeah.
Because he's the one who put the team together for the most part. I mean, how many players? I mean, well.
And how many more arranged marriages is Drury going to get, too? I mean.
I don't know. He's not going to have a long time. I'll say that. I mean, I don't think he's going to get fired. I know you do, but maybe a year. I mean, the only thing is, if they go into a true rebuild, I think they got to let him go because I'd rather have a different GM.
So do you think Laviolette's going to get fired?
I think he's definitely gone.
So
Yeah,
if they, so, and again, I guess Drury will get fired. I'm just more
eventually.
so,
Yeah.
I would fire both of them, because then what's the point of Drury next year and a new coach? And then you fire Drury after next year, and then you have to bring in a new general manager for that coach. Like, then I would rather bring in two guys, a GM, a head coach at the same time, as opposed to delaying the inevitable with Drury just for one more year, where then you're setting up a GM to come with a coach after year one. Then you're just, I don't know. I think you're just setting yourself back. If you're just going to blow it up, just blow it up.
Well, it depends. It depends what they do as far as the direction of the team. Like if you're just gonna blow it up, yeah, I trade everyone or trade, fire, whatever, get rid of everyone. But if they're kind of going through a retool, then I can see them not firing Drury. If they're gonna
Yeah.
completely blow it up, I
But a
think. But
retool, they need to rebuild.
yeah, you're right. I think they got. I think
I
this
mean,
team.
maybe I'm being too negative. I don't think a retool, and this is a good trade. I don't want to make this episode sound like we don't like to trade. We like to trade, but just talking about Drury, I don't think this team really a retool away. Like, they need to blow up this core.
Yeah, they gotta actually do it right this time. They gotta make sure to don't sign anyone in free agency like a Panarin.
Let like Perot and those guys come up and get big
Yeah.
minutes. Don't bury them.
There's no point of like the Panarin deal. You can say what you want about it. Like for the most part, I guess it was pretty solid. But at the same time, it kind of stunted a lot of these young guys' growth where they didn't get as much playing time. So I think that they got to really commit to the young guys for this rebuild or retool.
Yeah, you have to. Like, you can't let some of these prospects come up and play 7 minutes and then basically come up to the NHL, ride the bench, and then go down to Hartford. You can't do that. You've got to let him play. I mean, Othman should be playing so much more. He's playing very well, and he's getting 6 minutes of ice time a night. That's not how you develop a young player. But that's the story of the Rangers. They don't.
I mean, again, you got to hope that you'll see him, hopefully, maybe. I don't know if this is a crazy take, but maybe he plays the rest of the year with the team now without Vesey.
Yeah.
Hopefully. So maybe you get to see him a little bit more. Maybe you see him a couple times in the top 6. But I think he's been pretty solid, though, Othman, in those 2 games. So I was a little disappointed he didn't play that much yesterday. I felt like that line was pretty good, even the limited time. They were really good the night before or 2 nights before. So I don't know what Laviolette was thinking, putting out the Trocheck line that has been a complete dud, especially Panarin, but in Lafreniere.
It's crazy how fast that line has fallen off.
They were the only line we had last year.
Yeah. Now this year, the only line we have is like the 4th line.
I mean, I guess the Miller line has been good.
Yeah.
Like Zibanejad has been solid. I think he's been better than what people have been giving him credit.
And Cooley had the shorthanded goal.
I have seen a lot, more of an improvement of his play. Cooley, he had a little bit of a dip there for a while, but I think that you'll see him hopefully get more confidence as he gets more ice time, because now it looks like he's going to be getting a lot more minutes. If he's killing penalties with Zibanejad and playing, I'd say first line minutes. I think that's the best line, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't play at the end of the game, though, which I would play him over Lafreniere. And on the power play. The power play sucks.
Yeah. Had the 5 forward power play work well.
Whoever decided that should get a raise.
What were they? 0 for 3, I think, last night, right?
It was bad.
They're better. You have more trust in them shorthanded than you do. They should have 2 shorthanded goals.
Yeah, they almost scored right after that.
Yeah.
I went like Trocheck at the crossbar.
Can I also say this? How many more times is this team, and this does reflect coaching a little bit as well, this team is never ready to play these big games.
No.
How many times this year I saw a stat.
They always go down in the game.
Forget it. It's the first 2 minutes. The amount of goals that they let up in games in the first 2 minutes, or the amount of goals that they let up in bunches, is just I don't even know. I don't even know what word
they
to
let
use.
up a lot of these backbreaking goals too, where they get a goal to tie the game, or they get a goal to take the lead, and they just concede goals right after.
Yep. Exactly it.
For that game
last night,
so much momentum.
Shorthanded, and 3 minutes later they scored.
They were outplaying them. got the tying goal. Looked like they were going to take the lead, and then what do you know? Goal ends up in the back of the net, but I don't know. It's inconsistency.
And that was too. It was the 3-on-1. It's so
Oh my god, that
lazy
was
getting
so
back to the
bad. I mean,
bench.
Panarin.
Panarin is so lazy. And so many times, not even just last night, but you'll see so many times where he'll go off the ice, he'll put a stick in the air, and he'll just
Yeah, I'd be like
slowly go
glide
over.
to the bench.
Yeah, he puts his stick in the air and just starts to like he does the normal like Panarin strut where he like starts to put his head down and just kind of goes over.
That might be his new signature move, not the kick. It's
guess,
the
yeah.
tired stick raise.
The tired, he'll just give up. Like he's like he's such a clown show. It was like traffic at the bench. There was like all three of them trying to get through the one door.
And there were too many men on the ice too. They've done a bunch of that this year.
That is true. They've had a ton of that. The team can't even get a line change properly.
I mean, you have to figure, at that point, I think the game was tied, was it? 1-1? Yeah. And you're in a tight game. You got to go to your bench and be like, hey, guys, like, we got to make sure second period changes. You guys have been in the NHL. Like, that can't happen. It's a far change.
Yeah. Panarin is so lazy.
How come we never catch people in line changes?
Well, I mean, nobody's as lazy as us, I guess. Yeah, we don't catch teams sleeping.
He's terrible.
Much. We only get caught sleeping.
He doesn't do anything. And now he just turns the puck over. It's like not even like,
yeah,
I don't know, but
he'll have moments of just his skill taking over, and
I mean,
but
do we even expect him to play well against bad teams?
Did he hit the post against the Islanders? I think like he's had a couple opportunities, but overall it's been and then getting back on D, he doesn't back check, he doesn't try. Him and Lafreniere just give up on plays, and that creates.
They should not play with each other. That's a disaster. That's an absolute disaster. Having those guys on the same team.
That's honestly got to be one of like the slowest lines in the league.
Dude, they're so slow.
Like they literally, and they could be faster if they tried. They just give up on plays.
Yeah, they play slow.
Yeah,
they play too east-west.
It's not like they're bad skaters. They're just lazy.
How many times a game do you see like Panarin get a good break, a good like stretch pass, and he'll like get it, and he'll stop skating and wait for like a trailer to come through or trying to get someone like across ice pass, and then while he's waiting, first off his feet are still right, so he's not moving. So people catch up to him, and if anyone does break out to get open for that, the person catched up to that guy because they're skating with him. Mm-hmm. Like he doesn't continue the play; he just stops.
Yeah. He'll always do it too, like on the TV. He'll do it over by he'll stop all the time, like the red line, like right in front of the penalty box, and he'll just
and try to make a cross ice pass.
Yeah,
it never works.
Instead of just going and pushing play.
He literally does it at the most like high danger places too, like at both blue lines.
Yeah, and then he'll turn the puck over,
and then he'll
like take his stick and he'll like swing it around. He's got to go back the other way,
and he either half-ass back checking or once he turns it over, he's like, I don't want to get a minus. So then he does the stick raise to like, hey, someone change.
Yeah, sometimes he'll take like a little shot at the guy's like knees, and that'll
he'll do like a little like a slash and does absolutely nothing. Listen, if you want to learn how to be a bad defensive, bad back checking player, you got to watch Panarin tape. Yeah. I mean, he's the best at that.
Yeah.
You think like the little like slashes ever worked?
No. They and then you'll get, oh my God. Just leave Igor out to dry.
And then Igor passed the puck off the other team and then turned the puck over. Honestly, that was a bad mistake too, because it was obviously a back-breaking goal. And then I thought he should have got the Nylander goal. I mean, he's got to cover that post. Once he forced Nylander around the net, he's got to get to that post, because once he didn't get to the post, the puck went through the crease, and then who scored? Vakanainen? Who put that in?
Yeah,
I think Vakanainen.
I think it was
whoever it was. It wasn't a Maple Leafs player that put it in the net.
Yeah, I think it was Vakanainen, because it wasn't Tavares like trailing. I think.
I don't know.
Not that. I mean, Vakanainen put it in, but Tavares, I think, was trailing anyway. That he might have tapped either way. But yeah,
the moral of the story is if you want to get paid $11.5 million and score 120 points in the league, don't back check, don't play defense.
Yep.
Uh,
Play for the Rangers. That's
yeah,
the qualifications. And if you
yeah,
want to be a good young prospect, do not go to the Rangers. Or don't get drafted. Just hope.
well, if you want to be
You
if you
don't
want to
get
be a
drafted.
young prospect and be bad, then
What
go
was
to
that?
the Rangers. If you want to be young and bad,
That's true.
then go to the Rangers. But I just think it's like that meme with like LeBron and D Wade of like Panarin and Lafreniere, but like instead of being good, of being bad.
Yeah.
Like they might be the best dynamic duo in the league of not back checking. Like I can't think of two players on the same line in the league that complement each other of how bad of back checkers they are.
I just don't know why this team, like, they lack. I don't know. Maybe it's because.
That's just nothing to do with skill though. Like that's coaching. So
Yeah.
for as much as you can blame the players, you also got to blame the coaching staff. I mean,
Yeah. But you do.
as a coach, as a decorated coach myself, if one of my kids was doing that, and even if he was like the best player on the team, if he's like not back checking and the other team's getting goals off that, his ass would be sitting on the bench.
Mhm.
It shouldn't matter how much money you make, how many goals you score. At the end of the day, effort is something that's non-negotiable. So, but I guess for Laviolette, it doesn't matter.
And you do wonder too. Um. Yeah, I was gonna say this. Just kind of like a general statement with the Rangers, but and on the topic of it, but like you just watch this team, and maybe it's because we watch them every night or every other night, whenever the heck they play.
Yeah.
They just, and then you'll go turn on another game, and you'll go turn on Florida, or you'll go turn on any of these other teams, and like just the way they move and the way they, I don't know, just forecheck. Like there's so
Battle.
much, yeah, like there's so much more energy and care, I guess, in those games. And again, maybe it's just because as Rangers fans, we watch, we don't catch, of course, life happens. I don't know how many people, you're not going to watch every single minute of all 82 games, but just about, right? We
Yeah.
all watch, and if not, you're watching a replay or highlights, whatever. Like you see this team, and it's like maybe it's just because we're all worn down and this season's been so bad. But like even last night, it's a Friday night, MSG, Toronto, and they're getting chances, but I don't know. You just never feel you're not feeling the juice with this team. Like last year, you could feel the juice. They
There's
were
no
winning
desperation.
games. Like
There's no desperation.
yeah,
And there has to be.
and there's none of that right now.
You
And
know, also, I was talking to Danny, and and I agree. Like, you can't point out one game this year where it's like a signature win.
no,
Like, they haven't had any come from behind wins.
nope.
They haven't scored any 6-on-5 goals. They have one overtime win this year? Just Sam
Yeah,
Carrick, I think. I think they have one overtime
and
win,
then they had
one
the
shootout win.
shootout against Columbus, which
Yeah.
even that game, it wasn't
Mhm.
like it was 1-0.
Yeah. No goals scored in that game.
No,
But I mean, they haven't they don't go to overtime. They don't battle in close games. And in the close games, they always lose. Like I said, they never score 6-on-5. I mean, that's like
no.
they don't score in the power play. I mean, I tweeted this out. The power play one unit has contributed one goal in the last 12 games in wins. So in the last 12 games, in those games, they've scored once in all the wins that they've had in those games. So they're not contributing to wins. The power play one unit. So power play sucks.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, it's awful. It's been terrible all year, and it just shows that they need the power play, because without the power play, they're not very good 5-on-5. It's covered up a lot.
yeah.
I'll say this too, and maybe it's coaching we can blame, but I think some of the problems with this team where these guys have old habits is they're just it's kind of a stubborn core. They don't like, maybe Laviolette could be telling them like you got to do this and that, but Panarin's just gonna rely on his skill and gonna rely on his natural ability.
Yeah, but I think you still then you got to bench him though if he's not going to listen.
Yeah, you have to bench him. He doesn't.
Nah, that's why I think it's coaching. At the end of the day, it's his
Yeah,
decision. Like if he says Panarin, you're not playing tonight. Panarin can't trump him on that. If his coach says you're not playing, you're not playing. I don't see it any other way. I mean,
do you think it's coming from the higher ups though, like Drury?
Like
what if
what?
Laviolette wanted to
Like you
bench
can't
him?
bench,
Or like Drury's
you
like,
think
no.
he has to go through Drury to bench someone? Then
Yeah.
Drury should be fired. That's ridiculous. That can't happen.
I don't know, because you just think, right? Like Coach Peter, right? He's on the hot seat. Like he's got to recognize that if they don't make the playoffs, he's probably gone. He's going to be the scapegoat for all this. Like, wouldn't you think he's at least going to try and go out with a bang in a way?
I mean, maybe he just thinks that's his best chance to win, but at the same time, I
Well,
mean,
we've
clearly it's
seen
not.
that for months that it's not.
I don't know. He has to grow a set of balls, and he's got to do like a locker room shaking move here. I think before it's too late, and it's getting late. I mean, it's what, March 1st? We're already in March. He's got to either bench one of the. I mean, well, Zibanejad he can't bench it because he's playing well. He's got to bench either Lafreniere. I don't know how big of a move that's going to be because he is a young guy. He's been benched before, but
Yeah.
Lafreniere he's got to bench Panarin. Panarin's got to sit and he's got to get taken off the power play, like minimum taken off the power play, and they got to really show him that your play. Listen, you can be okay. You can live with it. No, not live because you obviously want to win, but I can live with him. Struggling a little offensively, puck luck maybe not great, not producing, but I mean, not back checking, not forechecking, stupid turnovers, not playing right the right way, like just playing too much east west hockey. Like that is all unacceptable, and that should be benched.
Yeah.
I'd rather him completely change his game, more north south, maybe a little bit more aggressive, maybe a hit. I don't know, just effort, back checking, forward checking. I take all of that for half his points. I take a 60-point player that does that instead of a 120-point player that doesn't do any of that.
Yeah.
And that's why he doesn't do good in the playoffs, because he doesn't give the effort. You need the effort and the grit.
Well, that's what I wish. I wish this team had more Will Coolies, guys like that, than Panarin's. The Will Coolies of the world are going to get you to Stanley Cups, not the.
And I mean, in years prior, though, that was good enough to make the playoffs. Like his regular season play, he was like great in the regular season, but not in the playoffs. And I mean, this year he's not even good in the regular season.
It might not even be good enough. No, I might not even get a chance in the playoffs. Yeah, you know what's gonna suck though is it's just gonna be too late. Like even now, if they bench one of these guys, it's too late. Even Mika, they should have benched him months
Yeah,
ago.
he should have been benched a while ago.
It's just too late. All right, 23 games left. We got to do 18 and 5.
17 maybe, because what is that? That's 34 points. I think they have 20 or 62
2 right
for
now.
96.
96.
I think that's enough. 95 I think would be enough too. 94 is not enough. They got to get 95 points. I'd say makes the playoffs.
So 17 and 6.
So they
Or 17
or
5
30
1.
or 33 points regardless. Like
Yeah.
they could go what 10 what is that? 10 and 3?
3. Yeah. That'll be
Or,
33.
Wait, no, it would be 10, 10, and 13. Or no,
No,
it'd be
10,
10, 3,
10
and
3
10,
would
3, and
be
10. 10, 3,
23.
and 10.
Yeah.
Right? 10, 3, and 10.
Yeah.
Wait,
10,
no,
3
10,
and
10. No. It'd be, I don't know.
Yeah,
Just they
10,
got to
3
get
and 10. No, 10, 3 and 10 would be 33. No, it would be 30 because it'd be 20 and then the 10 1 points.
So they would need to go 10, 0, and 13.
Yeah.
10, 0, and 13.
Take the Islanders' approach to things.
13, 13.
0 and 23.
That'd be crazy.
That's the Islanders' approach. Just get to overtime and lose them all. Just get them as long as you get to overtime, just rack up a bunch of points and find a way to squeak in. I don't know. 17 and 6 is. I mean, you'd have to assume they're probably going to lose at least what?
7
go
games.
through the schedule, I guess, quickly.
They'll probably go like 16 and 7.
Not gonna be
miss the playoffs by a point.
Yeah. Because if you go through the schedule, games left that are like probably going to be losses. Probably.
All right, here. You read them off, and I'll mark them down as a win or a loss, and I'll.
All right, all the games are just like the tough ones.
Just all the games. The rest of the games.
All right. Nashville.
All right, we'll say we win that. That's 2 points.
All right.
And we got it. All right, so we'll get to, like I said, 96. I think
Yeah.
if we're not,
So
if we're saying no game goes, this is just no game goes to overtime.
yeah. So we're at 64 then. Islanders.
Okay, you win that. Okay, that's 4.
66. All right. Washington's a loss.
No, they're gonna lose that. Yep.
So 66 still. Then Ottawa, Columbus back to back.
They'll split those.
Split. So 68. Winnipeg, that's a loss.
That's a loss. Yep.
So Minnesota
Is it home or away?
away. That's a loss.
Loss.
And then Columbus.
I think they win that one.
So what, 70?
That's 80. That's 8 points out of how many games that was?
Yeah. So that's 70 by mid-March. 70 by March 15th. Then back to back. So then you go Edmonton,
Loss.
Flames.
They'll win that one.
So 72. Toronto's a loss.
Yeah.
Vancouver.
I think that's at the Garden. They'll win that.
So yeah, that's the Sam Rosen day. So 74. All right, then they go out west. Kings.
I think they'll beat the Kings. I think they'll win one, like a game that you don't expect them to win.
All right, so that's 76. Yeah.
14 points.
Anaheim.
They'll win that.
San Jose.
They'll win two.
You think they'll win both those?
Yeah.
So then what's that? 16
It's
points?
18 points. Whatever.
18, right, 80 now. I feel like they're going to lose one of those games. That's a back-to-back. They're definitely dropping Anaheim or San Jose.
I think they'll win both.
They probably will, but I don't know. They did lose last year too.
All right, so what do we got next?
All right, so 80 with Minnesota. Now we hit April. So 80 come out of March.
Again?
Minnesota again.
I think
At home.
Yeah, I won that one. They'll split with Minnesota.
All right, so 82. Then the Devils, they're not winning.
Is that at home?
No way.
Okay, they'll lose that one.
Tampa.
They'll beat Tampa. They'll split with the Devils in Tampa.
All right, so 84. Flyers, they'll win.
Yeah.
86. Islanders win.
Yeah, the Islanders.
88. Carolina.
No.
Florida, no.
No.
Tampa.
No.
So 88. That's it.
So they fall like 8 points short.
8 points short, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna make it.
God, that schedule is a freaking gauntlet. You end the year. They go into April and they've got to play the Devils, Tampa twice, Florida, Carolina, Minnesota. That's God.
But I mean, we can. They're like, no, we'll lose to the Sabres. So, right?
What do you say?
They lose to the Sabres.
Yeah.
Twice.
God, that'd be.
I mean, they deserve to miss the playoffs.
You know, you have no faith though. If they go into the final 3 games of the season and they need to win like two of them, nobody's gonna have any faith in them beating Carolina, Florida, or Tampa.
That's a crazy ending of the season.
It would be a crazy ending, but there's no way they do it. Carolina and Florida on the road.
They got the Devils, Tampa, Carolina, Florida, Tampa.
Yeah, after Minnesota, it's Minnesota, Devils, Tampa, Philly, Islanders, Carolina, Florida, Tampa.
Oh, okay. So you got the Islanders in Florida.
Yeah, you get 2 points there. You get a guaranteed 4 points. You should have 4 points in March at least.
There's no chance. Like, no chance. 0% chance this team makes the playoffs.
Yeah, looking at it that way, there is no chance. If we really wanted to get technical, we could break down Columbus' schedule, but that's too much time.
Well, I guess the only thing that you can kind of give it to them is that Carolina or Columbus and Detroit probably have like similar schedules where they probably play, or like Detroit probably plays like, I mean, the Bruins suck, but maybe they play the Bruins once or twice.
Wild card last year was 91.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Detroit Capitals. Capitals obviously got in. Penguins were 88. They finished 4th. I wonder what the projections are. Can you is there a site? Money Puck I know does but is there like a site for
what is Money Puck's like playoff chances for the Rangers? That's probably like 10%.
But is there a site of like what projects how many points the wild card is going to have, or what's going to need to get in?
I don't know, because I think it's all relative, right? Just based off what the records are.
80. I'd like to know where like the Capitals and them were this time last year.
You know what? Maybe I'm wrong.
I mean,
Maybe
if it
it'll
is
be
only
less.
91, then there's a chance.
Yeah, maybe it's only going to be in the low 90s just because of how all the teams are by each other.
Especially with Columbus, like you'd assume they are gonna kind of flatten out a
They got a
bit.
big game tonight, though. Really
Yeah.
big game.
All right, playoff odds.
The Rangers have a 48% chance to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
They have a better chance than Detroit and Columbus somehow. I don't know how that happened.
The odds makers love the Rangers.
I think
They just
Detroit's
look at
definitely going to make
talent
the
and they
playoffs, so
say-
I don't agree with that.
I
They
don't
have
agree with it either, but you just look at the roster and people are like, oh,
they have the Senators at 49.7, so they have the Rangers and Senators getting the wild cards.
I mean, it doesn't make sense. So they see
Feel
a
like
complete shift. They see the two teams that are in the wild card right now not making the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, well,
Detroit's definitely going to get in. It's a battle between Ottawa, Columbus, and the Rangers.
Yeah, I agree.
And Boston, I don't think is making it.
I think Boston's lost like 5 in a row. They play the Penguins today, so maybe they win. But
I think Boston's out of it. But plus the Rangers and Ottawa, Boston's played more games, so they got games in hand on them too.
Yeah, I don't see Boston making it.
No. And then, but behind that, it's like Montreal, no. And then you get to the bottom feeders.
You know what team? Like, I mean, they're gonna make the playoffs, but like, it could get scary at the end of the year. Is the Devils? Like, they've been bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I think.
I mean, Columbus is only 4 back of them.
If the Blue Jackets win games in hand, are they tied?
No. Well, Columbus will have 68.
Okay. Well, yeah. If they win today, they're 2 points behind the Devils with the same games played. That's crazy.
Imagine that for a story. Devils missed the playoffs.
The Rangers are what, 8 points behind the Devils with a game in hand?
Yeah.
Imagine the Devils missed the playoffs.
They're
That'd
not
be crazy.
going anywhere, I'll tell you that.
Well, the Senators are 8 points behind with 2 games in hand. So if they were to drop,
like Devils odds 90.7.
They've been playing bad though. They've been like 500 ever since like February.
Yeah,
or, ever since December.
Let's see their schedule though. Maybe their schedule's easy. Let's see.
I mean, I assume they play like the Capitals, the Rangers,
Yeah, they got like they're out west right now. They got Utah, Vegas, Dallas, and they play Winnipeg.
It's pretty tough.
Yeah, Philly.
I feel like Utah's been playing pretty well. I don't know why. I think
they still got
Utah.
2 Columbus.
Yeah, Utah's won a 6-3-1, won 3 in a row. So they've been playing well.
Columbus might mess around and take the 3rd spot.
They could.
You know what? I'd like to see that. Why not?
The Rangers are going to make it.
The Rangers aren't going to make it. Why not? I mean, why not have Columbus go on a run? I mean, what
cause
is
chaos?
You know, yeah. Let's take a step back.
I don't know. It's all relative. Like I said, it just depends which team does. I guess there's not really a exact point total. You just gotta depend on what the team in front of you is doing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, it's probably like 53, 47. 53 they don't, 47 they do. So I guess those odds on Money Puck are pretty they're pretty accurate. I think the Money Puck had them at like 48, but they had better odds than teams that are in front of them, which makes no sense.
No. I'll say this. I think coming out of next weekend after they play Columbus and then Ottawa,
we'll have
going to be after the deadline. That Monday, we're going to have or that Sunday night after the Ottawa game, we're going to have I think you'll know right then and there if they're making it or not. Based on the deadline and then how they look those 2 games after, and then just the fact that they're facing 2 teams in front of them, I think we'll know.
Yeah.
I think we'll know one way. We'll definitely know if they're not going to make it. I don't know if we'll know. I think only the worst can happen. Like, I think we come out of that weekend knowing they're not going to make it. I don't think we'll come out of the weekend knowing they'll make it, but like if they get swept by
what would suck though is that there's probably, like I said, good chance that we don't make the playoffs and don't have a first round pick.
Yeah.
I still, to this day, well, I mean, again, you know, it's in the past, but I mean, not trading the first round pick last year was so dumb. because you could have got Gensel. And I mean, from what I've been reading, that like Emery kid hasn't been great. So, wow, really need the 30th overall pick, right?
Yeah. Who needs Gensel though when you got Roslovic?
EJ Emery is going to be a stud in 10 years.
Playing as the third D pair, or
He'll be like a good seventh defenseman on this team in like 5 years. He won't be good, but then since he was a first round pick, they'll force him to play.
So you don't think he'll like crack it? He'll be like seventh.
No, he'll be like this. He'll be the seventh defenseman. I don't think he'll get into the lineup. He'll only be the seventh defenseman because he's a first round pick. They're like, oh, he was a first round pick. We got to kind of give him, some sort of a chance.
Yeah,
and I could be wrong. EJ Emery might be a Norris Trophy winner.
It's possible. Why not? Let him cook.
Hey, there's not much of a. There's really not much of a like the floor is pretty low, or the ceiling is pretty low. For both
good.
are low, honestly, floor and the ceiling for these like prospects because of how bad the prospects have been.
Yeah, I mean the floor I would say the ceiling's high for Perot.
Who knows? I mean, I guess that's one positive thing you have next year is that at least if they're not good, you can watch him play and see what he is. I mean, who knows? He'll probably not even play. He'll probably be in like Hartford for like 4 years.
What do you think? If you had to give a timeline, when will they win the cup?
This team next? Oof.
Yeah.
Days
like today, it's discussions like this that make me wonder when anytime I talk about any of my team.
I don't know. I can't give you an answer because I don't know what the team's gonna look like.
God, they stink.
I guess maybe
that's why I do want them to like.
It's like a 3-year rebuild, 4-year rebuild. So it's 3-4 years. And then you're gonna at least 1 to 2 years of getting into the playoffs. I think 3. So I'd say like the next chance I think to have is in like 7 or 8 years.
This whole thing would be so different if Kakko and Lafreniere were
like studs. Imagine if they were Crosby and Malkin. How sick would the Rangers be right now if they were both generations?
And they would have had a cup already.
Like imagine
they would literally be.
They would listen to this. Imagine if we were.
They'd have a dynasty.
Imagine if we were this bad in. I'm trying to think what year the second and first round pick back to back were really good. I guess you could say. Who was the second overall pick in 2014? I'm trying to think of like to kind of like just line it up and see if consecutive years of second and then the first round pick.
Yeah,
because if you said first and second, we could have got McDavid and then, or we could have got. Oh wait, no, I got it. 2015, 2016. Yeah. 2015, we drafted Eichel second overall. Imagine, like, this could have been, like, kind of what we could have been if we had the picks in 15 and 16, right? 15, second overall pick was Eichel. 16, first overall pick was Matthews. Just think of it. We had Matthews and Eichel on the team right now with everyone else.
They should have had Eichel. The Eichel thing will... That's going to take a while for, I think, Ranger fans. I mean, he'll be a Ranger eventually.
Yeah, when he's like 40.
Yeah, when he's like 40 and washed.
We'll get him at the 2030 deadline.
Yeah.
Him and Zibanejad or pair centers.
And we'll get McDavid.
Hey, McDavid hasn't signed an extension yet, so I think he can sign one. I'm not sure. Maybe he can't sign until July. I don't know. Maybe we just sign McDavid.
You were too worried about Eichel and the medical.
I'm just saying though, you're right though. If they really hit on that Kakko and Lafreniere picks, I mean, how many first round picks were kind of like disappointing, like Lafreniere recently? Owen Power, I guess.
Yeah, Owen Power is pretty disappointing.
I think Slavkovsky isn't like generational.
Yeah,
I think
and
Berdard and
Celebrini,
Celebrini, I think they're both better
they're
than Lafreniere.
yeah, they're good. Yeah, I think they're still figuring out that. I mean, uh, obviously Celebrini first year. Bedard, he needs help. Like,
Yeah,
I know the Blackhawks are rebuilding, but you got to give the guy some help. He has so many close, like highlight reel plays that just he needs.
I don't know. The Rangers were really close to being like a dynasty, and just like going into the 21-22 season, they could have been like that. I was so hyped up. I mean, you had Lafreniere in his second year, Kakko in his third year. Not a lot of playing time because of other guys, and like obviously shortened seasons. So you're thinking, okay, this is going to be big years. They're going to turn into stars. Miller looked good. Lundqvist came into the lineup. You're hoping he was good. Still Panarin, Kreider, Zibanejad, who like for the most part looked good. Heedle looked good. You had all these young guys.
There's another one that's gone too.
It all went to shit.
Yep.
That could be a good video
I
to
hate
make.
saying I've said it.
That could be I'm gonna make one of those like videos where it's like it would take like a month to make. It'd be a really long video, but it would be like the biggest like what if in NHL history. How the Rangers went from looking like a dynasty to. That's gonna be a video. I'm gonna make that video.
They would have had 2 cups already if Kakko and Lafreniere were as good as they were supposed to be.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a video. Be like one of the biggest what ifs in hockey history. The Rangers went from dynasty to rebuild.
I will say this. Oh, that's just why I like the whole playing with house money. I remember everybody during that run. Oh, they'll be back. They'll be back playing with house money. No,
I mean, we're back to be fair, but
they were back, but different team and different. I guess Heedle was hurt last year.
yeah, that was a killer.
And 2022 was a disaster, or 2023.
Whatever. Well, at least we traded Ryan Lindgren, though.
Yes, Lindgren's gone. Any closing thoughts?
No, I guess it's a good day because we don't have to watch the Rangers today. I'll say that.
Yes, it's always a good day.
I'm looking forward to not. Well, honestly, like I think if they don't make the playoffs, I'll be happy because I don't have to watch them in the playoffs. So we'll see. But it's gonna be a long.
They'd make the playoffs. You'd probably waste 4 days, 5 days.
Or no, it'd be 8 days, right? Because it's every other day.
Yeah, I guess so. 8 days, so a week, because they'll probably get swept or lose in 5.
Hey, it's Rangers hockey, so whatever.
Yep. Anyway, that'll do it. Talk to you soon, and let's go Rangers.